Welcome to the DraftKings Daily Trot. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at tonight's 8-game slate. And I think first things first here, I mean, we got to talk about the dungeon that Russell's in with the backdrop. I mean,
yeah, we got to work on the concrete here, but overall, yes, there is an office. I officially have an office, so this is like a big move in the right direction in Russ Industries. We're having a big meeting tonight to see what the next move is for our corporation, but for now, we're pretty happy with the recent progressions.
I think people would obviously think you're in a basement, but they also could think you're in a parking garage. Just pulled up in a parking garage somewhere.
Oh man! All right, you know what, Jason? I've had enough of your lip.
That's fair. That's fair. We can jump into it here. Astros and Pirates, Jameson Taillon versus Doug Fister. As far as this game goes, I'm not expecting a ton of production on both sides. I actually really like Taillon as a GPP play tonight. Been really tough on right-handers. And obviously, you look at Houston, they're going to lose the DH. They do have a couple lefties, but I mean, obviously, guys like A.J. Reed, Tony Kemp, Jason Castro aren't really lefties to worry about. I guess as far as the pricing goes, I'm not really on the Astros.
Yeah, I like Taillon as well. We had fun with the Astros in their last series there, but this is a little bit of a different story. I think again, we got what we wanted out of this Astros stack and Astros group in this last series, and with Taillon here, I think this is a nice way to target them and sort of christen off our now fading of the Astros.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Springer and Correa price tags at 4.6 is certainly a GPP move. I'm okay with those two. Altuve, I'm not really going to be looking at 5.5. I think that's a little overpriced.
Yeah, that's very overpriced, actually. Yeah.
As far as the Pirates, I mean, kind of a similar thing here. I don't really like these prices, and Fister's been actually really good against righties as well. I mean, as far as the lefties go, I'm fine with Gregory Polanco. If Josh Bell's in the outfield, I'm okay with that as a punt play. But outside of that, I mean, I don't feel like using 5.2 Marte. I don't feel like using McCutcheon at 4.3. I'd rather just kind of stick with the lefties there.
So, yeah, Starling Marte is getting the Mike Trout treatment of having a team projected like under 5 runs and still being over 5.2. It's like, what are you doing? Stop. Leave me alone. And so that's how I'm feeling about Starling Marte today. He could have a good day, but I'm not paying 5.2 for him.
No, I don't think so. I think this game alone, I mean, on an 8-game slate, it's easy to just kind of pick and choose maybe one or two guys, but that's it.
So, yeah, I think as a contrarian tournament game, that's fine if you want to go Marte, Polanco. Like, I think there is a reasonable range of outcomes for them. But, like, in cash or something, you're definitely not looking to pay that type of price.
No, I don't think so either. Especially with you, I mean, you're going to be paying up for pitching tonight. Obviously, with Lester and guys like Price going, and even GBPs, you might be still paying up. But yeah, I don't think it's really economical to go that route.
Right.
Nationals and Orioles next year. Dylan Bundy versus Steven Strasburg, and I'm kind of intrigued with this game as far as in tournaments only, which is pretty much what we've kind of said about a couple games of late. But that's really all it stands. I mean, obviously 2 arms as far as right-handers go that have been pretty solid. I mean, obviously Bundy's coming off 2 tough games, but here there's definitely some strikeout potential on both sides.
Man, so Strasburg, I still like him. I'm very intrigued by this Trumbo at 48 and Chris Davis at 49 price, though, and Pedro Alvarez at 46. I mean, these guys are really priced up for facing Strasburg. I still like Strasburg. I think he has a pretty decent chance at shutting them down. Even in Baltimore, I think that's pretty reasonable to think that's in his range of outcomes. But probably 8 games, probably still not a cash option for me. I don't want to go at him with this Orioles lineup. Maybe a borderline cash, but certainly not someone I want as my SP1, I don't think.
Yeah, and then with that being said, I mean, you mentioned the pricing of the Baltimore hitters. It's like I can't really get behind paying Chris Davis 4,900 or Trumbo 4,800. Adam Jones at 46, maybe Machado at 45. I think those are the two I'd probably lean with.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's just a GPP move. I think really in this game alone, given the arms, it's kind of just a GPP batter type night here.
And I could see Machado getting to Strasburg and Strasburg still having a good day. So it's kind of like that. I see Machado as the leverage play there, maybe like you mentioned, Adam Jones as well. But overall, even a Hyun-Soo Kim at 36, deep tournament guy, but overall, yeah.
Yeah,
But this pitching in general, I don't think I'm touching this game either.
no, I think on the national side, I mean, Bryce Harper, Daniel Murphy, I don't mind as one-offs, but because they're so expensive, I'm not quite sure I'm going to be pairing them together.
Yeah.
I think it's more just, hey, I'll roll with one of those guys and kind of hope to get lucky off Bundy. I mean, Bundy against lefties has been okay, but obviously, I mean, low ground ball rate, there's some home run potential for some of those left-handed bats, especially in that ballpark. So one-off potential there in tournaments, I'm okay. Probably cash games, I'm still not touching.
Yeah, and in terms of those two, over the weekend we were getting that mini stack for 600 less per game, you know. So and against better pitching options. So um or better matchups is what I mean. But I'm not necessarily targeting them against Bundy. Again, one-offs like you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. Red Sox and Rays next year. David Price versus Blake Snell, two lefties on the hill. Some of the Red Sox here are pretty enticing. Alexander Bogaerts at 4.1, Pedroia at 4K. I still like the Hanley price tag at 4,600, but I think even David Ortiz at 47 is intriguing. I mean, Ortiz isn't no slouch against left-handers either, so you can kind of go a lot of different ways here at the top of that lineup.
I know Bogarts has been bad of late, but I kind of feel like this is a cash game day for him at 4,100. Same with Pedroia. I'd love to start off my lineup with those two. Super cheap. Obviously get a lefty here that has been inconsistent, so I do like that quite a bit. I mean, as you mentioned, Ortiz 47, still pretty good splits against lefties. Not quite what he does against righties, but still pretty good. So 47, nice discount there. I like that. And yeah, I mean, Mookie, 52, I'm in on that too. So if you want to do that full top four Red Sox stack, I'm okay with that. But overall, I'd probably just stick to the first two in cash.
Yep, I think so too. And as far as the Rays side, I mean, obviously Logan Forsythe coming back does help out this Rays offense. The only guys I'll look at is Forsythe and Longoria, but I do think they're a bit overpriced in this matchup. But Price really hasn't been a guy who goes through games completely unscathed, so I'm okay with looking at really those two bats. I can't see getting behind anyone else there. I'm not a fan of diving down into the value like I was the last few days.
Yeah, I do like Price as my cash game guy though. Over Strasburg at least. Kind of limited options on this slate, but I think I'm definitely going with Price and cash tonight at least. As my SP1. So I just don't. I like Longoria, but again, that's tough to pay for him. So yeah, I'm probably mostly fading this Rays lineup unless I'm doing a weird, like going against my other lineups with a tournament, you know, Rays, Foresight, and Longoria group.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Rockies and Brewers, Jimmy Nelson versus Chad Bettis. And in this game, not in Coors, but it's in Miller Park, so still a pretty friendly offensive ballpark. I like both sides here. I like some of the lefties against Jimmy Nelson. Obviously, David Dahl's crept up in price, but I mean, deservingly so. But I think him and Cargo are two lefties you can definitely take a look at against Nelson. Nelson, I mean, 1.33 home runs per nine to lefties since last year, 361 WOBA. 4 out of his last 5 starts, he's allowed 6 earned runs. Oh
man,
yeah,
I didn't know that. That's bad.
Nelson's been getting teed off on a late, and he's been better at home, but still, I don't feel like it's going to be friendly for him.
Can I just say, sometimes I hate Nolan Arenado. I was so on him those first 2 games of that gosh darn slate, and yesterday I faded, and wouldn't you know, just blast one off early in the game. But I mean, whatever. Yeah, no, like you said, 6 earned runs in 4 of the last 6. That's pretty telling of sort of how he's pitching right now. Certainly looking at those, Cargo, Dahl. I mean, I think those guys are borderline cash at those prices, even though they are expensive. And again, I think you can sort of look at Descalso at 33 as well, going down a little bit. So yeah, fire away with your Rockies. I know it's not in Coors like Jason mentioned, but pretty interesting here. As well as, I mean, Bettis' splits are better away than obviously in Coors, but I'm still going at him with this Brewers lineup. I'm not worried he's going to shut them down.
Yeah, I am too. And talk about Arenado. I mean, the price tag is actually really nice for him at 4,600. Definitely a lot more reasonable comparison to where he's usually at. And even Gerardo Parra at 3,100. If you want to get that lefty split against Nelson for cheap, I'm okay with that there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, Bettis slightly better away from Coors, but still an ERA over 5, so it's not tremendously better. But you're looking at Bettis, I mean, a reverse splits guy, still pretty average against lefties. I like Ryan Braun at 4,800. I think he's an intriguing option. I even don't mind guys like Chris Carter in a GPP at 4.2, Villar 4.6. I think there's a lot of upside with those Brewers names there.
Agreed. Yeah. I think they're a very interesting tournament stack on this slate.
Yeah, I could definitely see that paying off in a big way. I mean, because you do have some value that kind of can work in if you want to use like an Arcia or a Scooter Gannett if you wanted to.
I'll be honest, I don't know how much I like them as standalone guys, though. I feel like if you play Braun, you kind of want to get Chris Carter, too. Because I feel like if the wheels come off for Bettis, they're really going to come off. So I kind of like the stack over the individual plays, but Braun's still probably a solid play.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Braun's standalone. But as far as getting guys like him, like Villar and maybe the value, it's kind of like, okay, I want pieces around them as well.
Yeah.
Braves and Diamondbacks next here. Zach Godley versus Mike Foltynewicz. And here, I mean, really nice price tag on Jake Lamb against Foltynewicz. And that's something we don't usually say here too often on DraftKings. But Foltynewicz 1.84 home runs per 9 since last year to lefties, 380 WOBA. Lamb born – certainly reasonable options there. And even Yasmani Tomas at 4,200, I like that quite a bit.
We normally give, or I know I normally give a pained face when we get to the Diamondbacks because they're usually way overpriced. But I can dig this Jake Lamb price today. I don't mind doing the Goldschmidt Lamb Tomas sort of little grouping there. I like that. And I mean, even if you want to go with the 4 Born as well, sure. I don't know that I'm on Segura today. That's a little too expensive for me. If I'm going to pay up on the Diamondbacks, it's going to be for Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Segura's been hitting the ball well, but yeah, I mean, in terms of paying up in consideration to other options that we've talked about, probably not my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
He would fit into a stack for me. I mean, I could really see rolling myself out a 1 through 5 stack there. Against Foltynewicz. I mean, projected for our 5 runs in that ballpark. They've been coming around of late. I could definitely see that being playable.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
All right. Talk to you later.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, he's still going to play. I just, with the rest of the lineup considered, I think I like Lamb over him.
Yeah, I think so too. And on this Brave side, I'm in on some of these prices. I mean, Freeman's always a guy who is much more expensive. I don't get the Incayarte 49. I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Markakis at 4.4, Kemp at 3.9. I'm okay. I mean, Godley has pitched well in his last 2 games, but still a pretty average right-hander. And in that ballpark, they'll help out the Braves quite a bit. They haven't been the soft go-away Braves like they were in the first half.
They certainly haven't, but the problem is now they're way overpriced. If Encarte was like 39, I'd be down. I'd be like, all right, let's do this. But $5K, man, 4,900. I'm gonna find somewhere else, to go.
Yeah, I think so too. But overall, I mean, Chase Field, I do expect this game to be one of the higher scoring ones of the night. Definitely cash game playable, I think, here on both sides.
Yeah, and I'm still down for Freddie Freeman if he's in the lineup, obviously.
Yeah. Indians and A's next year, Carlos Carrasco versus Andrew Triggs. And as far as the A's bats go, I'm off, even though they are cheap. Carrasco's been really solid on the road. I guess maybe there's only one name you could look at as far as GPP potential, and that's Chris Davis, just because he certainly has that home run upside. Outside of that, I'm not targeting anyone from the A's.
Yeah, I can't do it, but those prices are sort of appealing, but they're appealing for a reason, especially with the way DK Price is now. If they're actually priced down, I mean, like that, it's probably not a good sign. I like Carrasco here, cash arm. So I don't think I'm going to be getting much exposure. Even like you mentioned with the Chris Davis thing, I don't know how much exposure I'm going to be getting to him either.
As far as the Indians, I mean, good spot here against Triggs. Obviously, the ballpark factor is a significant downgrade. They're only projected for just over 4 runs. It's not like it's anything spectacular. I can't get behind these prices in comparison to the other names. I don't even like Chisenhall's price. Tyler Naquin at 4.2 is probably the only one I actually like as far as pricing goes.
Really? What about Kipnis?
5.2? I can't pay that. I rather take Segura, to be honest, at 5.2.
Oh, all right. We'll make that bet. I'll take Kipnis over Segura. I feel like that's a pretty even matchup. No?
Yeah, but I'll take the ballpark there in Chase Field as the tiebreaker over Kipnis.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I do like Kipnis. I will say that. Maybe it's more tournament than cash, but I will agree overall they are overpriced. I am going to be firing off some Indian stacks, though, just because I have no confidence in Triggs to get through this lineup. I don't care if it's all singles and doubles. I don't think he's gonna get through this lineup.
No, I definitely don't think so either. I mean, yeah, I think they're contrarian pivot off of the other offenses because I think we've already talked about a couple of guys that we do like the Red Sox, that Rockies game, the Diamondbacks is in, the Indians do fall below those guys. I think they will on the rankings for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of the usual names there. You know who to fire away with.
Yeah, against righties, it's pretty simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Yankees and Mariners next year, Cody Martin versus Michael Pineda. And this one, I mean, there's certainly some interesting prices here. And you look at Pineda, he's a guy who is kind of a boomer bust right-handed arm, gives up a lot of home runs to right-handed bats. And I'm certainly really intrigued with Nelson Cruz's price at 4,200.
Yeah, you gotta love that, right? 4,200 for him. Certainly a nice option down from Cano, or I mean, even a nice combination with Cano. So I really like this offense once again. Obviously not a great ballpark, which is obviously a bummer, but yeah, even we saw, in reasonable matchups, Seth Smiths of the world at 3K. I mean, that's a pretty decent price for him.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't mind some of those bets. Even a Seager 4,500 is certainly intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
I might take a punt with Mike Zunino. I mean, he's cut down the strikeout rate against righties, and obviously Pineda is certainly as I mentioned, boomer bust guy. So I feel like you can kind of target away with this Mariners offense.
Yep, totally agree.
And as far as the Yankees go, I mean, I think there are some reasonable prices, and because we do need some value, I think they're in play against Cody Martin. I don't really mind the top half of that lineup. Obviously, Gary Sanchez is priced up a little bit more than where he was the past few days. We saw that. We talked about that yesterday. But I still don't mind really the front five there actually tonight, I think, just given the value they bring.
Agreed. And it's not the type of group you look at on a 15-gamer, but on an 8-gamer, they're a little more appealing, especially the Starlin Castros of the world at 37. It's like, all right, well, clearly he's probably not going to hit a homer or do anything crazy. But, I mean, if he can get me 10 at 37, I'm going to be pretty happy with that,
Yeah, no, I definitely am too. I think there could be certainly some solid production for the price.
Mm-hmm.
Cubs and Padres next year, John Lester versus Edwin Jackson. And I think overall you're probably looking at this Cubs team. I think even in Petco, I think they're a stackable option.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, especially against Edwin Jackson. These prices are bonkers. It's just kind of going straight through from the Coors series, but I'm okay with it. I don't care. Let's do it. Rolling them out again.
Yeah, I can't tell the difference actually between Coors pricing and their pricing in Petco.
Right.
It's crazy. I mean, Dexter Fowler's price of 4,700 in comparison to the rest of the lineup is certainly okay with me. The Chris Bryant and Rizzo, both over 5K, you're going to have to pay down to pitching, and because that does feel uncomfortable, I think that's where the contrarian move is to be made.
So now the elephant in the room here is obviously Jason Hayward at 28.
Oh, my goodness. Here we go again.
I don't think I can do it, but that's based on his, since 2014 splits, this is a great matchup for him. It's just, I don't think you can play him at this point.
Below 3K, I mean, obviously it is a solid price. And as we know, the track record is certainly there, but it's been so hard to overlook what he's actually done in 2016 that makes him so uncomfortable to play.
He can barely even hit the ball, man.
I'm borderline. I want to ask the question if he could just do if he's what service does he have right now to the Cubs offense? I mean, there's none whatsoever.
And if you were in a worse offense, like he might be optioned, but it like just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter what he does because this Cubs offense is so good. But like,
well,
if
paying
you
him
were
over
getting,
$100 million also helps out not to be
okay, what I'm
optioned as
saying
well.
is, if you were like on the Brewers or something and he were getting paid that much, like that would be really egregious. But he can just kind of sneak behind everyone, and it like doesn't matter, you know. So
Yeah, it's like you're the kid in the choir that can't sing.
yeah,
But you just mouth everything.
but it doesn't matter because you're the rest of the choir is so strong. So
yeah, that's what it is. And the back half of that lineup, I mean, Wilson Contreras is the cheaper option out of that one. I don't even mind an Addison Russell at 4.4. Those are probably the values that I see taken away from the Cubs, and they're not even quite value.
Definitely, and not really looking at anyone in the Padres lineup. I'll do Will Myers at 35, but other than that, nah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in agreement. Will Myers is really the only GPP look for me on this Padres team. They've been absolutely dreadful against lefties.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's go wrap things up with the DraftKings Daily Trot. Be sure to check out dailyfantasycafe.com for all great tools and content.